We are
We
working,
are
says Pookie.
working. Yes, we are, Pookie. Thank you so
Yay!
much. We had
Thank you.
some technical issues with OBS again.
We never have technical
Sorry,
issues.
guys. Not a good way to start off the first nature chat of 2025.
It is not.
Mm.
But
Oh my god,
we're
that was
here.
weird to say 2025. I actually haven't said that yet.
Whoa.
It'd
We're
be
over a
weird when I
weekend
write
already
it.
as well.
I know.
Flying
We
by.
are.
Whoa.
It's the 7th. No, it's the 8th today. It's the 8th.
My
Whoa.
goodness.
God.
I hope everybody had a lovely break, a lovely Christmas and all that. I know Nick and Andy have seen you, but I hope you got up to some nice nature things. How have you both been?
I've been really good. I did lots of nature walks over the Christmas week. I did one on the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
That sounds
That's
lovely.
nice. That's a good break.
So I've got lots to show people today. Some very
Nice.
exciting things as well.
I'm
Nice.
excited. Yeah, you were hyping up some stuff on Friday.
I was.
Had to wait a whole 5 days for that.
I know. I'm
now.
just such a tease.
It's
Oh,
such a
Andy.
tease. What about you, Nick? Did you have a nice break or a nice week?
It was nice. Yeah, I was working over Christmas, so didn't manage to get out as much, but definitely got to get out a few times, which was nice. Yeah, even a little bit of nature is always appreciated. So I got some things
Exactly.
to show as well.
It's harder when it's shorter days, but now they're getting longer because we've had the winter solstice. So
Yeah, give it a month or so. And it won't be dark
yeah.
by the time you get out of work or anything.
Oh, that
Well,
actually
maybe.
will be really nice. It was
See
a
how you
gloomy day
daylight
today.
hours.
Nathan Macro says, haven't done anything surprisingly, but plan to go rock pooling when I'm back in Bangor for the weekend.
Awesome.
Lovely.
And good to see you too, Barnacle Bum. Good to be back. Yeah.
Barnacles is excited for daylight.
Vitamin D, finally.
How many hours of daylight do you actually currently get, Barnacle Bomb? I'm pretty sure it's not too little, but
I think it's like 6, maybe 6.5 or something up there.
Oh no.
I'm trying to think it's a surprisingly little amount, which is
so
sad.
it's here in Nottingham. It's 7 o'clock in the morning to about 4:30 at night. So
Okay, so like 9-ish.
yeah, so it's not too
I'd
bad.
say, I would say the same. But at least, see, 6 hours though, that's not even a night's sleep.
No,
I sleep for longer than 6 hours.
That's true.
That's not a nice feeling.
4 hours
But
might
at
be
least
decent.
we don't live in like where is it that gets like no light sometimes in days?
oh,
Is it like
you're up in the Arctic Circle for that.
yeah, like near the Arctic Circle. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
But then
but
you get snow.
yeah, but during the summer it's constant daylight. So
That's true. I don't think I'd like that either, actually. I wouldn't survive that.
you gotta have
Too many
blackout blind.
extremes.
You gotta have blackout blinds and everything like that to keep you going. You know what I mean? It's
But do you think the birds tweet all the time? Because like that's what wakes me up in the summer as well when it's like dawn and the birds start tweeting. Like do you think they're just tweeting all the time in the Arctic Circle?
I'd imagine there wouldn't be too much difference because they tweet at dawn because that's when it's cooler, so the sound travels
True.
better. But I'd imagine kind of in the Arctic, there won't be that
True.
much of a temperature change. They might just kind of do it genuinely throughout the long day or the eternal day. But I don't know. That would be interesting to see, actually. Like if you went from equator up to the pole, what's the time range of tweeting birds and stuff?
I would actually like to know that. If anyone knows in the chat, that would be really interesting.
yeah. So
Although
Barnacle Bomb says 7-ish hours, 9:05 to 16:08 is the sunlight hours. It's the dawn to dusk. There you go. Where
not
she
too
is.
bad.
Hmm.
Is it snowing for anyone? Fistle says. I bet Andy's got snow. I bet Andy
I
and Nick
did
bet you
last
have
week.
snow as
I
well.
did last week, or beginning of this week. I don't at the moment, although it's very, very cold. So I've been outside today with it being very frosty, doing a bunch of gardening. So
Digging through the ice.
it wasn't
Yeah.
too bad actually. The ground was a lot softer
Yeah.
than I was expecting it to be. But
That's
I put in a second. I built myself a quick second compost bin, which is really easy to do. I just used a pallet and then put a bit of wood across the top between. I put it next to the one I've built already out of 2 pallets. Slotted another pallet in, put a bit of wood across the top at the back, screwed it in. There you go, done. So
Bam.
it doesn't take long, and I've got space for another 2 to go in as well. So
Oh no.
I might end up doing that in the not too distant future. But
A bit exciting. Compost bin construction live stream, maybe.
oh, you never know. You might be lucky.
In the summer months, maybe.
Yeah.
Just be by head torch light now.
Right now you would you
Yeah.
wouldn't see anything at all. I'd have to
Sam
go
of the
put
name
like
and ow.
hitting my hand. Things were frozen over this morning. Saw some kids fall their bikes this morning. That's not nice.
Oh no.
Hope the kids are okay.
Barnacle bum. I walked most of the way home. Road too icy for the bike. God, I would not
Yeah.
try biking on ice. That seems
I've like fallen
dangerous.
off once whilst cycling, and like I was like, "Oh, there's black ice. Brakes don't work." But yeah, once is enough for me.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
going that far, so yeah. With the
This all
bikes,
says
okay.
it's snowing a bit now. It starts to snow and then turns into rain when it hits the ground. This is what's happening to me as well. You can
Yeah.
see the snow fall and then it just dreams get washed away, really.
Yeah, I had sleet
Okay.
yesterday.
Mm.
Again, I was in the garden doing a bunch of gardening, and the sleet started coming down for about 10-15 minutes, but that didn't do anything. And then I think over the weekend there was a bit of snow.
Hmm.
Oh, I'd love some snow.
Oh no!
Are the bikes okay? Sorry, I just said that.
Oh no, Pookie!
Barnacle.
24 people at the local hospital with broken bones from bike falls. Wow.
My gosh. I guess the guy.
Madmen on bikes
Yeah.
onto the ice. That's that is an extreme sport. You may as well go skiing down a mountain on a
Have
bike.
you ever watched any of the like the downhill mountain bike racing that starts at the
Yeah.
top of a ski slope?
Oh
My
yeah, but
gosh.
they're in the summer, so they don't have the ice.
No. There's
Oh,
snow, and they start on the ski slope, okay, and it's snow and ice for the first like I don't know how many hundreds of meters, and then they
Whoa.
hit like gravel, and then they're off. It's
my
it's
goodness.
really interesting to watch. Like the races are like 45 minutes an hour long, and
wow.
It's a big
you,
hill.
you've got a guy with like a GoPro on his helmet, and he's off he goes. And like sometimes you get to see them when literally they're falling, like they're
Oh my
tumbling
god.
down the mountain and things. It's like the amount of crashes are just nuts on the snow
Oh,
section.
I can imagine.
Mm.
I watched those mountain bike videos where like they're going so fast, aren't they? Just downhill, and it looks insane. I actually went mountain biking this year for the first time properly, and I thought I was going so fast. And I took a video of myself and literally the pace of a snail. So my hat is off to them because
I
they
used,
must be going insanely fast.
I used to do making bike trails quite a lot, not far from me, and I thought I was quite good. And then one day, as me and my mates, and we're up on the red route, which is the most challenging one, and we're pumping away trying to get going, and then a guy appears behind us, and we have to pull over, and he's off. You know what I mean, we just can't keep up with him, and you're like, okay, we're slow.
Yeah,
We're not
humbling,
fast at all. We're slow.
humbling experience.
Going casually.
I do
Yeah,
love it though. It's
mountain
good fun.
biking is nuts.
Good fun. Cool. So shall we show off all of our awesome sights that we've seen over the Christmas and New Year period?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. Who's going to go first?
Do you want to go first, Andy?
Do I want me to go first? I can quite happily
Go
go
on.
first.
Yeah.
You've
Okay.
been waiting for it.
I've been waiting for it. Okay, so like I said, I went for multiple walks over the Christmas period. The first one was on Christmas Eve. I lent my dad my old camera because he's off to South Africa next month for 7 weeks, and he's going on multiple safaris. So I thought I'd give him a camera and a decent lens, and he can hopefully take some pictures of elephants and lions and stuff like that. But while I was to help him get used to it, because he's not very good with technology, we went down to West Haven Beach, which is just up the beach from up the coast from Carnoustie. Literally, it's a village and a town that are joined to each other. And saw some pretty cool things. So I'm going to start off with the Sanderlings, Dunlin, and Redshank image, please.
Oh my gosh, all in one.
All in one. So we're all
Whoa.
feeding at the sea edge and amongst the rocks. Look at that. So you can see lots of Sanderlings there. There's a Redshank right in the middle, and then off to the left, you can just see the Dunlin. It's slightly darker.
Yeah.
Bit browner.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. There's literally only one Dunlin in there. Loads of Sanderlings.
Oh, what a nice photo, though.
But yeah, so these are all winter migrants that have come over to feed and to feel a bit safer. Slight curve in the bill as well. Yes, Pookie, you're right. Ever so slight at the very end.
I was going to say, yeah, they do look quite similar, don't they?
They do. They're about the same size as well. I think a Dunlin's a little bit bigger. Like to the naked eye, you'll hardly see it. But I think fundamentally they're slightly bigger. So there you go. And I've got an image of just Sanderling. If we can just get the Sanderling up, please.
I was going to say, yeah, compared to the Redshank as well, it looks like a beast, doesn't it?
The Redshank's huge. It's not a big bird at all, the Redshank, but there you go. There's a Sanderling. I like Sanderlings. They're
sinking in the mud.
Yeah, they're very cute little birds, and
little snowballs.
yeah,
That's what they look like.
beautiful little things. Well, thank you, Thistle. So I quite like the next image. So I've called it Sunset Gull. A bit of an arty shot.
Ooh.
If there isn't a sunset in this picture, I'll be disappointed. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a cool shot.
So I thought the colours were quite cool in this one.
Yeah, with the light coming off.
Yeah.
Nice and golden. I believe that's a herring gull. It's either first or second year. So herring gulls when they well, that's a romance novel cover for the gulls. Thank you, Barnacle.
That actually is for a dating advert, isn't it?
So herring gulls. So first winter, well, going into the first winter, you'll see what looks like just a large brown gull with white on it as well. And then they lose that colouring to come into that pristine white with the grey back wings over 2 years. Takes quite a while for it to happen. So this is definitely a first or a second, going into the second winter bird. I think it's first though. So it was born last year. There we go. So that was the Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, I got up and I went off to. Thank you, Barnacle. I went off to a place just up the road from my mum and dad's called Barry Mill. It's literally about. He was a shorebird. She was a gull. They said it couldn't happen, shouldn't happen, but they were determined their love would live across the species divide. Says Bird Chris. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
What an entrance.
That's a fantastic entrance. So, yes, I went to Barry Mill. And I saw some lovely things, including these bullfinch. So can we put the video up first, please? This would be a video of a male feeding away.
That is so cool. Look at that belly.
Absolutely gorgeous colours.
Lovely.
There we go. If you can just put the male image up now, please. So I was watching these bullfinch for quite a while. Thank you, Barnacle. I was watching these bullfinch for quite a while. They were moving through the forest. I know I've not found an animated Andy emote, though it is not too far off.
When we get 50 followers.
We're at 42 now, which is really good.
Great.
We're getting there. So so I was watching these two. There's a male and a female, and you can definitely see the color difference once we get the female image up. So the male's got this beautiful rosy pink chest and a black cap, and a lovely bluish grey back. Oh, 42, the answer to everything. Yes.
We've achieved it.
Can we bring the female image up as well, please?
You just love a bullfinch. Such lovely birds.
Stunning to watch as well. You don't see them that often either.
I think I've
why
only
I'm
ever
so
seen
happy.
like a pair, like only ever two outside of wintertime.
There's the bullfinch female there. As you can see, she's a bit more, let's say,
Muted.
camouflaged. You know, so because obviously it'll be the female I expect, and I'm sure we'll find a bit more later on, that sits on the nest most of the time. So she needs to be a bit more camouflaged to protect that nest. They move in pairs, and when they sit down somewhere, they tend to stay there a while. Yes, that's right, Pookie. Here we go. So yeah, so I saw a pair of bullfinch, which I was very happy with. I saw a lovely wren. I got what I think is a really good picture of a wren because they don't sit still for very long.
No,
You
they
see them,
don't.
They
Fuck
move
off.
constantly, and I managed to get the shot of a wren just before it went down behind a log. Look at it,
Aww,
right in the crook of that fallen log.
that's cool. Wrens are like wee clockwork toys. Yeah. They are. Yeah, the light in this is really nice. The way it's kind of hitting the back of the wren, it's really, really pretty.
And then I suppose the highlight of the day for me was the grey wagtail that I saw in the Barry Burn.
Aww.
I was hoping to find dippers, but I didn't see any dippers, but I did see a grey wagtail. There we go.
Ah, that would do though. That would do.
A great, honestly,
They're
what a
gorgeous.
fantastic bird.
lovely.
Beautifully rendered. Well done, Barnacle. That's good. Cool. Yeah, so that's Christmas. That's the Christmas Day walk, and then on Boxing Day, I did my usual trip to Crombie Country Park. I went to hopefully spot some red squirrels, and if we can get that image up first, please. I did see red squirrels.
Anytime you see one now, you're probably so like, I need a picture.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
So I saw
Aw.
definitely two, possibly three. The reason I say possibly three is because where I saw all of them was at the feeding station. And the first time we got there, the squirrel wasn't on the feeding station, it was up in the trees. And then I left, it disappeared, and I left and I went for a bit of a walk, and I saw some other cool things like great spotted woodpeckers and song thrushes and blackbirds and all that kind of frame filling red squirrel. Who are you and what have you done with Andy? Yes, I got a good shot of a red squirrel, Birder Chris. I got a good shot, finally. And I came back, and then there was two red squirrels, one on each feeder. So, which I thought was quite cool. So I don't know if one of them is the one that I saw earlier on, about an hour beforehand, or if it's three separate ones. So when I reported that I'd seen them, I said I only reported that I saw two. So,
Yeah.
because it's good to report these things when, especially something that is so rare as a red squirrel. When you see them, there is fantastic websites around for you to log on and report them. So the Scottish Wildlife Trust has a website where you can go and report any red squirrels you see in Scotland. So I did that. And what I loved about that website so much was that actually you could see where people had seen red squirrels.
Oh, that's handy.
So you could actually go, I want to see a red squirrel. This is an area where a load of them have been seen over the year. I'm going to go there and see if I can spot them. So that was really good. But the highlight of that day for me is something that if you've been on our Discord channel, you would definitely have seen. But it was one of the rarest mammals in the UK. There's less than 4,000 of this, and it's a pine marten.
Pretty good.
So if I can get that image up, please.
Wow.
Was this at the same place with the
It's
squirrel?
exactly the same spot on exactly the same feeder as that squirrel was.
There's no longer a squirrel there.
So this actually, so what happened here? So hand in hand with Squirrely Friend, yes. So I went to, it's the same point, and literally this was there when I approached the squirrel feeding station. So it's just around the corner from the loch, about a 2-minute walk from where the loch is. And it's in amongst a bunch of woods, as you can see. But there's like a viewing section you can creep up to with holes in the fence for you to look through, little viewing ports. And when I got there, it was on the ground at the base of this tree, munching away on something, probably the nuts that it's taking from the tree. And then it jumped up, grabbed some more food, went down and carried on eating. How close was I? Probably about 10-15 meters, Barnacle.
Oh, so cool. It's a good day, Andy.
It was honestly, it was amazing.
A good
Absolutely
mammally
amazing.
day as well. I feel like mammal days are kind of like hard to come by, aren't
Yeah.
they?
He's like a
This
mammal kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got to say this spot, I've seen some fantastic stuff. So I've seen definitely seen, well, each visit I go to there, I normally see a red squirrel, and then I've seen a pine marten, and I've seen a wood mouse in this clearing. So really good for mammals. And then there's obviously birds running around as well, like feeding from the stations and stuff as well. Birder Chris, okay, that's ever so slightly nice. Thank you, Birder Chris. So again, I reported this on a pine marten reporting website. Unfortunately, it didn't. What I was hoping for is that it would tell me if any pine martens have been spotted there before, but I haven't heard any feedback from them or anything like that. So, but I suppose that happens. They can eat squirrels. They can pookie, and I'm about to tell you a little bit because pine martens are actually my species focus. So they may look cute and cuddly, but with fierce teeth and claws and an appetite for small mammals, the elusive pine marten, Martes, is anything but. This iconic woodland species was once common throughout the UK. Sadly, this is no longer the case, but there is hope for their future. Pine martens come from the mustelid family, so related to weasels, ferrets, polecats, and otters. They look similar to those species with round ears, quite short legs, and long bodies, but are larger than many of their relatives, weighing about 1 to 2 kilograms and 60 centimeters long from nose to tail. They're about the size of a cat. Males are around a third bigger than females. The brown fur is thicker and lighter in winter, with a yellowish bib over the throat and chest. Pine martens are extremely agile and excellent climbers, helped by a long bushy tail for balance during treetop adventures, and large claws and thick fur on the soles of their feet for grips as they bound up tree trunks with ease. If they fall, they twist in the air like a cat to land safely on all 4 feet. What do they eat? So although they're great climbers, pine martens tend to find most of their food on the ground, hunting at night and around dusk. Main food sources are birds, insects, and small mammals like voles and rabbits. But fungi, berries, and eggs make a tasty meal too. Interestingly, researchers suggested that pine martens also prey on grey squirrels, which are bigger, slower, and spend more time on the ground than their red counterparts. Studies are ongoing, but this could be great news for the endangered red squirrel, as well as a range of trees that are often damaged by greys stripping their bark. So it is believed that wherever red squirrels go, pine martens follow, which is kind of weird. I thought it would be the other way round. Pine martens take their name from their habitat, living mostly in woodland and preferring to spend most of their time in pine trees, though they will also live in scrub, rocky areas and crags. Found throughout Europe, in the UK they are mostly restricted to northern and central Scotland, with some populations in southern Scotland and low numbers in northern England and Wales. Pine martens live alone, only coming together to breed in summer. They like to nest and breed above ground, so create their dens in natural tree cavities, making ancient woodland an ideal habitat, or holes created by other creatures. They've also been known to shun the hard work of building their own home and simply adopt squirrel drays and bird nests instead. Pine martens are very territorial and cover a large area, though this varies depending on the type and ability of habitat. Males especially have vast territories, travelling as far as 5 miles in one night and defending up to 25 square kilometres, twice the area covered by females.
Wow.
There you go. And their babies are called kits. Born in litters of up to 5, they start life blind and deaf, with a thin coat of pale hair which darkens as they mature. For the first 6 weeks, they stay safe in their den, but then start to brave outside. And by the age of 3 to 4 months, have learned to kill their own prey. At 6 months old, they are fully grown and independent and leave the den for good to establish their own territory. They live for up to 10 years. There you go. So there's quite a few Pine Marten introduction programs happening at the moment. There's been talk of bringing them in to the south of England, which would be fantastic if they did. And there has been some reported to have been spotted in the London area, although I'm not 100% sure that is accurate. So,
Someone just saw a weasel and was like, whoa,
yeah,
pine marten.
there we go. Cool. So I have 2 more images to show. The first one is a red kite. So this was just after New Year. Was it just after New Year? No, it was just before New Year. Pookie has a question. Where did you see this? Can you type it in chat? Sorry, Pookie. It's Crombie Country Park, which is in Muniki, Scotland.
Birdicris, that's a bit rude. Eat the squirrel, then live in its house.
Yeah.
Not very good manners.
Cool, yeah. So if we can get the red kite image up, please. So I went for a walk at Cresswell Crags, which is part of Sherwood Forest. And I saw a lovely red kite in the sky.
Lovely.
There we go. A bit of a distant image, but it's there nonetheless.
Ah, look at that.
Hmm.
Scanning the ground.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It never came close enough for me to get a really, really good shot of it. It was always moving away from me. So, but it's always lovely to see a red kite. I do love seeing them.
Need to put some food on you or something and just lie on the floor.
Comes and picks up Andy and takes him away.
Yeah. I was about to say that would happen. Cool. And then another bird of prey I saw that day was a buzzard. Let me get the buzzard image up. And this is probably the best view I've had of a buzzard ever.
Yeah.
Ah.
I was watching it feed on worms on the ground. It was amazing.
Oh, cool. That is cool. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love buzzards.
Yeah, they're such cool birds. So there you go. So that's my just before Christmas, so Christmas Eve all the way through to New Year.
Wow.
Wildlife encounters.
Pretty good stint.
I've got to say I am well chuffed with that lot.
Yeah.
To finish off
Yeah.
2024 with some amazing finds, and yeah, obviously the pine marten's the highlight, but
I was gonna say the pine marten's
Hard to
pretty
beat.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to beat. And yeah, they are just cool little things as well. With the whole thing with the grey squirrels, like it's kind of like a natural way to keep numbers down. Well, they won't really keep down, but you know what I mean. A natural kind of predator of the grey squirrel is cool. and that they don't really predate the red squirrel as well.
Yeah, red
So I guess
squirrel.
they've lived together
Yeah.
cohabited for quite a while, so they're
Yeah,
adapted to not.
red squirrel's quite no. So when I saw that pine marten, the red squirrel was in the tree above it.
Mm.
So it was moving amongst the branches, and the pine marten was on the ground feeding it from the feeder. And then dogs started barking not too far away, and the pine marten
Ah.
disappeared. So
No.
Classic.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the red squirrel being up the tree stayed. It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then I went away, came back, saw the 2 red squirrels, and then 2 dogs off the lead just ran straight past me into the feeding area, chased all the red squirrels away, and then ran back out again. It was like, oh,
I
thanks.
hope you had an Andy word.
I turned round and they just completely ignored me. They kept walking. But I basically shouted at them, seriously?
My
I
goodness.
like that.
You've got to be kidding me, right? And they just kept walking. I don't even think they heard me.
Wow.
Don't take your dogs to nature reserves off a lead,
Well,
please.
honestly, that place, it was so busy there on Boxing Day. I got there about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it was packed. The car park was full. So full
Wow.
that people having to park on the drive on the way in. And
Wow.
it was just full of people walking their dogs.
Dog walker.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Just people walking their dogs, or families out there walking, and all of them are shouting. Like, nobody's been quiet.
Mm.
You know, nobody seems to understand that, like you say, it's a nature reserve. And yeah, can you report them or something? I wish I could, Thistle, but no one takes notice.
It is annoying as well. It's just because like the thing is like you can have like, I know loads of people that have dogs. They wouldn't go to a nature reserve and let their dog off a lead because that's just not the place to take your dog
Yeah.
and put it off the lead. There's just places to go for that. And it's just you're right, they don't really listen and they think it's kind of like a personal attack about their dog, but unfortunately your dog's just trying to have fun. It doesn't realise what it's
Yeah.
doing.
Well, I say, I don't blame the dog.
Yeah, it's not the dog's fault, but
I
it annoys me
I
as
blame
well.
the owner or owners. Like, I went to
Maybe
there's a country park not that far from me now, just outside Roddington, which is south of Nottingham, and it has a traffic light system in place.
Mm.
So if it's green, that means that your dog is allowed off the lead.
Mhm.
Okay. If it's amber, it's allowed off the lead, but it must be within visual sight at all times and must come back when called. And if it's red, your dog must be on the lead. So
Yeah.
anywhere where there's like what's classified as being like nature-y, it's red.
Mm.
Anywhere that's like an open area but has like lots of people around, so let's say the kiddies playground or something like that, it's amber.
Mm.
And anywhere that is like completely open, there's nothing going on there, it's just an open field, uh, just grass, they say green, and that's it. And honestly, people followed it. I didn't see
Oh,
any
wow.
not following it, and I was like,
That's quite good.
this is brilliant. Why can't
Yeah.
this be done everywhere?
Mm.
So
If everyone was following it as well, to be fair, that is unusual. That is nice.
a dog eating platypus nearby, it may be best to keep the dogs on a lead.
Yeah,
That
pine
is so
martens can eat
true.
dogs, don't you know?
No, you should like that's such a good idea. Instead of signs saying put your dog on a lead, you should put something like killer animal on the loose, keep your dog on a lead, like just scare them into it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's one thing when this was back on Rathlin and seals just basking, resting on like the rocky beaches, and people going up for being too close. You had to go and tell them all that usual stuff. You think, oh, what if you had like a sign saying like seal attacked within the last week and have like 5
Yeah.
or 6 or something like? Maybe
That
they just have to do something like that to actually get it to work.
I know
I
some
actually
places have
rate it.
signs about
I think
adders, totally not for that reason, of course.
Mm.
I honestly,
yeah,
I just think the law should be that your dog needs to be on a lead at all times.
except in parks. Yeah.
No. Honestly, dogs should always be on a lead.
I
Always.
think if you're
and
down in your, like, country park, like, for example, like, mown grass, you know, it's a dog park. Do you get what I mean? There's, like, hardly any
yeah, okay,
wildlife there,
I can
just the birds
understand
in the
that,
trees. Yeah.
but we've got to think not just for animals' welfare here. We've got to think about people as well. So if you actually bring people into the equation, there's a lot of people that I know that are terrified of dogs.
Mm.
So, and what does the owner always say when the dog runs up to you? Don't worry, it won't hurt you. Okay? Now that's probably true. 99.9999999% of the time that'll be true. But the person who's terrified of dogs doesn't know that.
Mm.
Okay? And thinks that it's going to attack them or going to bump into them or doesn't want that experience. So, you know, the minute you start bringing that into the equation, people might actually start being considerate about keeping their dog in a lead in areas where lots of people are, therefore where wildlife might be. Specific
Yeah,
off-lead areas, says Birdcris. Yeah, completely. Rutland Water has one of those. And if you have a specific off-lead area, then the people who are terrified of dogs don't go there.
yeah,
Mm.
because I think that's another thing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly, yeah. I think that's it, finding a balance of both. And I know Grafton Water had this thing with has this thing of killer shrimp, and there's like signs everywhere saying like killer shrimp in the water, do not let your dog there. And it's worked actually. Dogs actually
Yeah.
don't go in there. So maybe we should put killer shrimp in every
but in the
every
woodland as
sign
well.
for any water body.
Birdcris has just put a stat up in chat. 30,500 dog attacks in 2023. That's a lot.
Is that on people or
That'll be on people, yeah.
on? My gosh.
Let's not blame the dogs, let's blame the owners.
It's always owner's fault. It's never the
It's
dog's
always
fault.
the
It's always
owners.
the owner's fault. But who's the one that suffers? It's the dog that suffers. Always.
Mm. Yeah.
But there we go. Anyway,
So,
enough
yeah.
of that. Let's move on from moaning about dogs or their owners.
We had our weekly rant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've had this rant so many times with wildlife, like with naturalists and dogs. I feel like everyone's in the same boat with it. Like it's just a constant frustration, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. Cool. Right, who's next? Who's next?
Nick, you can
Right,
go.
I'll go next then. God, I cannot follow up from that. But I saw
Yeah, I
some
didn't want
nice
to follow
birds.
it.
I'll start with my heron, classic heron. But yeah, I haven't been able to get out too much. But I've seen some nice local things all in the strait, so kind of like the edge of the sea.
Ooh, lovely grey heron. Look at that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just lovely heron. I didn't have my camera for any of these, sadly. It's just on my walks I could get out on, so this is just phone through binoculars. But yeah, a
That's
lovely
good.
heron, which it was just such a really still day. I can't remember. I think this was around Christmas. Yes, that sunlight I see this thistle. Yes, this must have been many weeks ago when the sun was still a thing. But yeah, just sat there watching a heron for a while, which was really nice. Really
Did it
still
move?
day. It did move, yes, like
Ah.
very slowly. Yeah, it's just nice. You can actually kind of see the fish. You can almost watch the fish along with the heron.
Mm.
It didn't hunt once I was there, but I always love seeing them. And then a bit just up, it's like a rocky slope as such, was a juvenile shag. So I have a photo of that one,
Ooh.
which I didn't see at first because it blended in quite well because these are quite zoomed in. But another lovely bird perching on there.
Oh,
So
that's
how do you know it's a juvenile shag and not a juvenile cormorant?
So shags have that kind of brownier color and like nice pale feet, whilst the cormorants look much more like the adult. So they're much more blacker. They have like a paler belly,
Yeah.
but not that chocolatey brown of the shag,
Cool.
which is really nice.
He's standing on one
That's a
leg.
good find.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
good
it's standing on
one.
one leg. But yeah, I didn't see it at first. I was like scanning along from the hair. Oh, the juvenile shag. I haven't seen one for a while. And It must have been, I think it was around Boxing Day or something, because I was standing on the pier here in Bangor, and I think I was just standing there watching there. Then someone else came along and just talked about birds for a bit, which was nice, like what waves we'd seen and pointing out the shag and heron. And it was just a lovely interaction talking with people.
Yeah, and it says cormorants juves have bright white bellies.
It does look floofy. It looks like a little youngster, doesn't it?
Yeah. Then I go on to my Brent goose for North Americans. I only see these like in the winter, and it's always in the same spot in the Strait here, which is quite funny. I think I've seen it last winter. I think the winter before that, but always in the same area.
And another winter migrant.
Yes, for our winter migrants. And I was looking up because I was interested to see, because there's like Brent and Brant geese. I was wondering, could I find out why there's that slight difference?
Oh.
And I couldn't, sadly, but I did find something interesting where the Brant and the similar barnacle goose were previously considered to be the same species and believed to be the same creature as the barnacle. That myth can be dated back to at least the 12th century, where Gerald of Wales claimed to have seen these birds hanging down from pieces of timber. William Turner then accepted the theory, and John Gerald claimed that he has seen birds emerging from their shells. This myth arose because in the 1100s the migration of birds was still unknown, but it was known that none of these birds were ever seen nesting, nor were eggs found, nor were goslings seen, and the legend persisted until the end of the 18th century. In County Kerry, until relatively recently, Catholics could eat this bird on a Friday because it was counted as fish. So yeah, that was something. Well, I was trying to find why it was Brent and Brant geese, but then I came across. I was like, oh, that's a fun fact. So there you go. This is not a bird; it's a fish.
It's a fish.
Emerges from a barnacle.
Thank you, Rispalmer, for the follow.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the stream. We're just talking about how we thought this bird emerged from a barnacle in migration. But yeah, I feel like I kind of went into a rabbit hole of early migration theories when we didn't know what migration was. Like, oh, why did these birds? Where did they go? Where did they come from? So I feel like I need to do a quiz soon about these really weird myths, because some of them are unbelievable. You thought this barnacle one was weird. Oh. So
yeah, that would be cool. Like some
might try it for a few
folklore
weeks.
stuff and
Mm.
yeah. Every time I see this bird now, I'm gonna be like, it's a fish. No, it's not a bird, it's a fish. I'm gonna start spreading the rumor.
Proper flying fish.
Yeah. I'll just
Talking
make
fish.
people think they're crazy. I'll be like, no, that's a fish.
Ooh,
Rotgans
Oh
in
gosh.
Dutch translates to annoying geese, but it's named not because it's annoying, but because of its sound.
It sounds annoying.
Or is it like the sound it makes sounds like it's saying annoying, or I'm not sure.
Did you notice that it sounded annoying, or did it not?
My barnacle goose was very quiet. Oh, not barnacle goose, my Brant goose.
Very
Same thing.
polite.
Yeah. Those. They're just two of them. And it was quite
Rot sound.
Yeah. Oh, rot. Oh. But yeah, they're just two sitting on the water. It was quite a strong tide, so it sounded like one was slowly drifting away. The other one was like, where are they going? That was lovely. And then I'll finish with my guillemot, which I do apologize, after Andy's really nice photos with the sunsets and the light, and I just got a really blurry picture through a pair of binoculars. So
it's there. It is there though.
We can see it is not an Andy pic.
It's reaching, but not quite. You see it.
Yeah, I can confirm it's a bird. Sorry, barnacle. I need to go with my camera more. But yes, this was This is on one of my walks, and I was coming back. I was like, "Oh, it's different," but I hadn't seen them before. Put my bins up.
You for 2025 Nick picks.
Uh-oh. You started off wrong, Nick.
No.
Pookie says still beats my white-tailed. That
That's
was a
true.
great quiz, by the way, Pookie, on Discord. I really like that. What is this bird?
Oh yeah, we talked about it on Friday, didn't we?
Yeah, I guessed. Was it magpie? I was way off. So
I think there was like magpie. I think someone guessed a wren.
someone guessed a wren, and then Pookie went, "No, it's really, really big."
It's an eagle.
That's so off. A wren to a white-tailed eagle.
Well, to be fair, you could hardly see it. Okay, so
Oh, really? It was just like a
I looked
speck.
at the image originally, and I was like, okay, I think that's it there. And it was in between a whole bunch of leaves. Okay, but it was in flight, and it was way behind the tree. And I was like, right, okay. And then he was really kind, and he did a zoom in on the area, and then you could see it. And I was like, oh, okay. And my first thought came in my head because it had the white bum. I thought, oh, it's a magpie because it looked like it was flying side on. And then when I think it was Barnacle that said something to do with it. It said it was a white-tailed eagle because of the big thing. I'm guessing the Peaky went, yeah, it's a white-tailed eagle. Then I looked at it again, and you realise actually it was flying away at kind of
Yeah.
an angle.
I can see it. I can see it now. Even the original photo, I would have had a clue, and I can understand why Barnacle Bum said wren because it's like probably somewhere it would be. But yeah, I understand now.
It's a good quiz.
There we go. Nice, lovely Guillemot. Very cool.
Yes, it was lovely getting it. Yeah, thank you to Nathan for confirming it was a guillemot because it looked a bit like didn't look quite guillemoty. So my other idea was like a black-throated diver, but I was like, not too sure. But yes, has a light white ear kind of behind the eye, which Nathan said is good for a guillemot in winter plumage, which was very nice to see. Yeah, that's what I've seen getting out about when I can. Yeah, you sure it's not a swimming magpie or fish pie?
It could
I mean,
be.
from that picture, it could be anything really. It's just a magpie with a bit of white on it.
Fish pie.
Yeah. What have you seen, Kat?
So mine, I only really have one wildlife encounter, but I've got lots of pictures of it. So I mean, my Christmas, I've explained to Andy and Nick, I got a tooth infection. So I basically didn't get outside after Christmas as I was very unwell. But I got out before Christmas, thank God. So I went to go see the seals. I think I told you about it on the last stream. I went to my favourite place in the whole entire world, which is Winterton Beach, which has a grey seal population, and it's pupping season, and they're just everywhere. And
They
like
are.
it literally brings tears to my eyes. Like there's something about seeing them. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like the happiest person on this beach, just like plodding around in the extreme wind.
So
But
cute.
it's just so nice to see, and like there's just there's what was the count? I should put the count. I think it was 3,000 seal pups born from
Wow.
so it'd be from Blakeney Point to Winterton, so including Horsey, so that's all of that stretch. So yeah, like 3,000 and something born when I went, and that was before Christmas, so there might have been, I don't know, a couple hundred thousand more, maybe, not sure.
Wow.
But yeah, there are a lot of them, and you end up just kind of like accidentally coming across them. But obviously, you keep your distance. A lot of these are from my binoculars. You can kind of see the like misty things, and then some of these are with zoom on a phone. But they're just so sweet, and they are my species focus. So I thought I would kind of talk about we have common seals, harbour seals, and grey seals in the UK. So I kind of thought I would talk about both of them and kind of how to tell the difference, because when I kind of did get quite confused, because I thought when they're younger they do look very, very similar. But we'll talk a bit about them. So I'll first talk about common seals. So they are up to 100 kilograms and 1.6 meters long. They have a concave head profile with a short muzzle, so kind of like dog-like face. They have a V-shaped nose, which meets at the bottom. So you can see from these photos, I think they have a V-shaped nose-ish, but it doesn't meet at the bottom. So they're light brown and grey. However, in the Thames estuary, they can be bright orange as their fur is dyed by the iron-rich mud. Although seals feed and travel in water, they spend much of their time hauled or resting on land. Common seals are often found in a distinctive banana position with their heads and tail up. They maintain space between individuals when hauled out or resting on the shore, and can be seen expressing aggressive behaviours like growling and headbutting if other individuals infringe their space, which I feel like all seals do.
No personal space.
Yeah. So in the water, they have a round head and a short nose profile, which is probably the most distinctive feature. So where to find common seals? The majority haul at sites around the Scottish coast, with additional populations in the Wash, the Thames, the Strangford Lough and Northern Ireland. Common seals tend to be found in smaller groups from 20 to 30 individuals. So the pups are born during June and July. They molt in the uterus and are therefore born with a brown coat ready to swim. So unlike the grey seals where they've still got their fur, so they're not ready to swim yet. So because of this, common seals can breed in tidal areas such as estuaries and can be seen swimming and diving with their mothers just hours after birth, which is mad. Imagine just being born and swimming. So grey seals, they are up to 300 kilograms for males, 200 kilograms for females, and about 2.5 meters, so a lot bigger. And the males are noticeably bigger than the females. So this is a female here, you can see, obviously, with the young, but the bulls, they're a bit darker, and yeah, they're very, very big, quite got a temper as well. So their head, it's kind of like they call it a Roman nose and an elongated muzzle, so it's a bit bigger. Their nostrils do not meet, like I said in the photos. So they're brown and grey mottling, and the mottling can be distinctive between the two species. So what to look for in land? Like common seals, grey seals often haul and rest on land. In general, they sit close to each other, sometimes in large groups or of several hundreds. So yeah, like this. Their large size, more elongated head profile and long nose are distinguishable identifying features with them in the water. And where to find grey seals? They're found around the whole coast of the UK as they travel further when foraging. They can often be found out in sea, in estuaries such as the Thames, where they don't breed though, because obviously the pups still have their fur. So the seal pups are born in August in Cornwall. I always find this a bit weird that they're different in different areas of the UK. So yeah, August in Cornwall, September, October in Wales, and November and December in Scotland and the east coast of England. So this is where I saw these guys. Grey seal pups are not as independent as those of harbour seals and spend around 3 weeks suckling their mother, followed by a few more weeks shedding their white coat, which is not waterproof, before joining the adults in the water. Because of this, grey seals with their white pups can often be seen on beaches. So, also, fun fact about our grey seal population. So despite numbers dropping to only 500 in the early 20th century, it's estimated that there are more than 120,000 seals in Britain, representing 40% of the world's population and 95% of the European population.
Wow.
So they've got quite a stronghold for grey seals, and they're obviously doing very well. And the people looking after these beaches, like the seal wardens, are doing amazing jobs at kind of making sure these populations continue to grow and people don't disturb them, and dogs and such, you know. So yeah, a nice wildlife encounter, even if I only have one.
That's a very good one.
I think it's amazing. Great
Yeah,
pictures as well. We need to get them on our Instagram as a story, I think.
Yeah, my binoculars weren't actually really playing ball with me when I went. They weren't really focusing properly, so it did take a couple times, but I got a few okay ones. Quite a few bad ones.
And Birdicus says, of course, you can go on the South Lincolnshire RSPB's birdwatching boat trip into the Wash. You get to see lots.
Ooh,
I do love seeing
that would be
seals.
cool.
I think seals are
Mm.
such cool mammals.
Yeah, they're
Very cool.
feisty as well. I love it. I love
Wait,
how feisty they are.
I've got videos. I'll see if I can find the videos at some point. But my partner Lisa, she goes scuba diving. She went off the Farne Islands before lockdown kicked in, and she's got videos of seals that she's playing with in the water, like they're swimming around in circles and
Wow.
spinning and all this kind of stuff. So I'll see if I can find that and get it on a stream in the future. That'd be quite cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, that is really cool. I think I went swimming with seals in Lundy Island. Oh God, how many years ago? Probably like 5, 6 years ago. And that was cool as well. Although, like, you do kind of think, oh, they have definitely got the advantage of me
Yeah,
now in the
yes,
water.
they do.
So agile.
Slow and cumbersome on land, although they can get up to some speed on land. But if they need
Go.
in water, they are just phenomenal. If they will be around in Feb, I can visit Norfolk or South Lincolnshire.
I think a lot of them will be gone by Feb, because the only reason when I used to do the wardening, there'll be a few on the beaches, but nothing compared to if you go in kind of peak season. So I'd probably recommend saving your trip until peak season, because then you just see like thousands, and it's rather than 30 maybe.
Just
They
need to
really
ask
do go quickly.
You just need to ask Cat Thistle about November, December next year when the right time to go is.
Yes, I do
So
time it quite well.
yeah, so it's put that in your diary for
Yeah,
November to say when should I go look for seals and seal
yeah,
pups
for
and stuff,
sure.
and then you'll get a good time to find out.
Yeah, and it'll bring a tear to your eye.
Yeah, because I was in Wales last year and I didn't see it, although I did see the placenta, but there was basically popping going on at the bottom of a cliff where I was, and I could see the placenta in the water, and I could hear the seals calling and stuff. It was amazing. Even not seeing them, but hearing them and understanding what's just happened. It's such an experience.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it's super cool. And even though, like, you do also see a fair amount of dead seals on the beach, just because they're bad mothers, kind of grey seal mums. They're not that great, but there are dead babies on the beach, but they just get left there and they just go into the cycle of nature, you know, like birds will eat them or they'll get washed into the sea. So that's what I think as well, yeah. My cameras have frozen on my Discord. Can I leave quickly and
Yeah, that's cool.
join again? Because I can't see you both.
We'll see you in a
Sorry.
second.
Yeah.
What about you,
Yeah,
Nick?
you could.
Do you have a wildlife encounter? Oh, not wildlife encounter.
I do. I forgot to talk about it when I was doing my encounters. But yes, I do have a highlight, which was as Andy was talking about his very lovely video of bullfinches. I've had a really nice few encounters with bullfinches over the last week or so. So it must have been around 4 or 5 days ago. I looked out of my window and in my back garden. It's kind of like a neighbor's fruit tree. Not sure what species, but there was a flock of about 10 or so, like coming and going from the tree, some eating the buds on them, some were kind of flying past, but I hadn't seen them since probably springtime. So I really loved seeing that. And then I saw them over the next few days. I had one chance. I actually was able to get my camera and see them again, so I got a nice picture of them. And then yeah, I saw them again this morning. So
Lovely.
it's been really nice just seeing them at the back, because I've seen like blackbirds, blue-tits robins, or like quite common winter garden birds, but I hadn't seen a bullfinch yet. So that was really nice. So I'll talk a bit about the bullfinch. So yeah, a fairly sedentary resident species, the bullfinch is distributed widely across Britain and Ireland, with the highest densities of this lovely bird found in lowland wooded landscapes. The male, which is the photo here, has a striking bright pink breast and neck contrasting with a smart black cap. The females are duller but still highly attractive birds. Bullfinches can often be seen at garden bird feeders in springtime, where they'll visit garden fruit trees to nibble the buds. Their call is a soft singing single whistle. There was a steep decline in UK bullfinch numbers at the end of the 1970s, and though there has been an upturn in the fortunes of the species more recently, population is still around 40% lower than in the 1960s. It may be the declining habitat quality and the decreasing number of large orchards which are impacting the population. So going over a few details. Population size about 265,000 territories in the UK. Population change. UK bullfinch population entered a long period of decline in the mid-1970s, following a period of relative stability. The decline was initially very steep and more so in farmland than in wooded habitats, but became shallower and eventually ended around 2000, since when there has been some increase. But yeah, they're very widely distributed, so they go all the way from here right across like Central Europe, kind of to Scandinavia, all the way across Europe into Asia as well. So very far-flung species. I was to get to productivity nesting. Go 2 or maybe 3 broods between April and July, with 4 to 5 eggs, incubation period of 14 to 16 days. But I was to get to the survival and longevity. So what is everyone's guess for the maximum age of a bullfinch?
Ooh.
With a typical lifespan of 2 years, with breeding typically at 1 year, what do you think the maximum age is?
Sorry, say that again. How?
Typically 2 years, with breeding typically starting at 1.
I want to say 12.
Yeah,
I
this
know
has
it's
gone
a bold
15.
guess.
Yeah, no, this was gone 15. You're saying 12.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess Pookie. That's pronounced Goodvink. Goodvink in Dutch translates to goldfinch to make things confusing for me. Barnacle's saying 8.
8.
Was
Any
it
other guesses?
Houdvink?
I mean,
Think
2
Houdvink.
years. It's not much. But then is
Pookie's
that
saying
because of
16.
preparation? Yeah. I'm gonna stick with 12.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 10 years, 6 months.
Okay.
Oh, do you know we go months?
I'm just throwing in
You can go to
something.
days as well if you wanted.
10 years, 6 months, and 2 days.
Bang on. No.
Yeah, correct.
One day. You added a few days. Maximum age from ringing was set in 1975 and was 9 years, 2 months, and 9 days. So, yeah, between you and Barnacle.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Right in the middle of us, Barnacle.
Yeah,
Most
almost a
die in their
decade.
first year. Average is always very low. You're right, Pookie.
Yeah, almost a decade for some, which is average of 2 years. Yeah, and then I also wanted to look into because I'm liking my like folklore things with birds and owls and stuff. So I did a bit more research as well. So the Latin name is Pahula pahula, which comes from the Greek word for a flame-colored bird. It is mainly resident, but many northern birds do migrate further south in the winter. So kind of say it's a winter migrant, with some from like mid-Scandinavia coming down to the UK. Bullfinches were once considered a serious pest in orchards because they like eating fruit buds on the trees. But so much so that in the 16th century, Henry VIII condemned their criminal attacks on fruit trees, and an Act of Parliament declared that 1 penny would be paid for every bullfinch killed, which is sad.
Another thing Henry VIII done wrong.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list.
British academic William Burley Lockwood studied the etymology of bird names and published a factual book, the Oxford Dictionary of British Bird Names, in 1984. And he said the bullfinch was named in the same way as the bullfrog and bulldog, in recognition of its literally bull-headed build. And I love this. He noted the bird's necklace rotundity. I love that small phrase, just round bird. The song of this unobtrusive bird contains fluted whistles that is often described as sad or mournful. In Victorian times, bullfinches were a desired captive bird because of their beautiful plumage and call. It was believed that the caged bird could be trained to mimic music, and it became a popular pastime to play a special flute to the bird. Yeah.
Very
A little
cool.
bird. Visual access. That 9-year-old bullfinch must have felt like a 300-year-old person.
Well, if you think about the age, okay, so we did pine martens earlier, and they live up to about 10 years. Like, apparently they can live up to 16 in captivity. But like in the wild, they can live up to roughly 10 years old. That bullfinch lived to almost the same age as a mammal,
Oh,
many
I'm
times its
thinking,
size.
I'm thinking, what's the average age that a human dies? 70? Should we say 70?
Yeah.
60?
Yeah.
60, 70? Okay, so 70 times 5. So that's like a 350-year-old person, basically, that bullfinch. I think that's what Thistleax was saying.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Very cool.
Yeah. So lots of interesting folklore and stuff about bullfinch. Oh, globally.
73.16 years old, says Birdicus, is the average global life expectancy from birth.
Wow. I should have had a guess it. What's the maximum age from ringing now?
I do believe somebody's lived to be 120.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
probably, yeah.
122 comes to mind.
But compared to that bullfinch, it's nothing,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah. Rookie numbers. Yeah, 122 years, 164 days. Gene Calment. Wow.
Bullfinches. Cool bird.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Glad I didn't do bullfinches. I was thinking about doing bullfinches as my species focus, and then I thought, no, I've got to do pine marten, because pine marten.
It would have been a shame not to, Andy, I can't
It would have
lie.
been. Yeah.
Fleeting glimpse.
Oh yeah,
I'll
just
probably
saw it.
never see one again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not my species focus.
I remember watching Spring Watch this year, and was it this year or was it last year? I can't remember which one it was. The 2024 or the 2023 one. And Yola Williams was in Wales, and he was doing a thing. Like, one of the days was trying to spot pine martens in Wales. And he got to see one. He was like, "It's the first time I've ever seen one in real life," and all that kind of thing. And I turned around to my partner Lisa, and I was like, "I'll be amazing to see a pine marten," and now I have.
Yeah.
About in all your faces.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy.
Ha ha ha. Cool. Right, shall we move on to the news?
The news,
Yes,
yes.
news.
Excellent. Shall I go first again?
Go for it.
Awesome. Right. So my one is the great skua is slow to recover in Shetland. So the great skua was particularly impacted by bird flu in 2022. At Hermanus, 220 breeding pairs were counted this in 2024. This is a small increase from the 208 pairs in 2023. But there were 955 pairs counted in 2018, which is the last time they did a full census. So it's a huge decrease in 6 years. Obviously, bird flu's got a lot to do with that. Also on Nos, the count was 80 pairs, which is up from 69 pairs in 2023, but still down from the 476 pairs present in 2018. There have been a few positive cases of bird flu in 2024, but that was of the H5N5 strain, not the H5N1 strain that caused so much devastation. They're also not sure what negative impact the H5N5 strain will have, and only one bird that they found dead was confirmed to be killed by bird flu itself. So not the thousands upon thousands of birds that we had in 2022, just one that they managed to find this year. Overall, some positive news, but the numbers are stark and the population increase is exceedingly slow. I expect it will take many years for these populations to return to their 2018 levels, and that's just not for skuas, but for all seabirds. I'd be interested to actually talk to the people at Bempton to see what impact it had on them, because obviously I've been to Bempton the last 2 years, and like the cliffs were just full. But it'd be interesting to know if that's still the case. Like, was it busier in 2020 or 2019 than it was 2023 and 2024? So I might have to ask that question if I go again next year. But that's my bit of news. So a bit of positive news, but at the same time, there's a long way to go.
Sure.
Do you want to go next, Kat?
Okay, yeah, I can go
Yeah.
next. Mine is so Sweden begins wolf hunt as it aims to have endangered animals to halve endangered animals population. Sorry guys, I haven't read that right. So basically, Sweden's wolf hunt starts on Thursday, with the country aiming to halve the population of the endangered predator. The Swedish government has given the green light for 5 entire wolf families, a total of 30 wolves, to be killed in a hunt campaigners say is illegal under EU law. Sweden's wolf populations dropped by about 20% in 2022 to 2023, and now there are 375 recorded individuals. The decline is due to increased hunting pressure, and the government announced earlier this year that it intended to halve the population, with 170 wolves becoming the new minimum level for favourable conservation status, instead of the current minimum of 300. Sweden had no breeding wolf population from 1966 until 1983, and the species is listed in the country as endangered on the International Union for Conservation. The European Commission is considering revising its habitats directive to reflect the fact that wolf numbers have increased, particularly in the alpine and forested regions of Scandinavia and Central Europe. Farmers say the increased population poses a threat to livestock such as sheep, but campaigners are saying that you can electric fence your sheep populations, etc. Earlier this month, members of the Bern Convention on the Conservation of European Wildlife and Natural Habitats voted to change the status of the wolves as strictly protected to a protected species. Leah Bados, the Wildlife Programme Officer at Eurogroup for Animals, said, "The wolf is unfortunately the latest political pawn, a victim of misinformation. Downgrading protection will not solve the challenges of coexistence, nor help farmers."
So it's interesting that in Asia, where wolves and stuff are also a challenge for farmers, the farmers out there use a natural thing to help protect their livestock, and it's called dogs.
Mm.
So properly trained dogs will protect your livestock when they're out on out in the hills and things like that. And the other part of it is that they actually spend time with their livestock out on the hills,
Mm.
out in the wild. So maybe farmers have got to get back to that form of life. And if it's something they don't want to do, well then don't keep sheep. We've got
Yeah.
we've got to stop thinking about this kind of, because I read this that not this specific article, but the one when they were talking about reducing the protective status from strictly to just protected, and I was like, why can't we go back? Can't they move the farmers out? Unfortunately, not Thistle.
Mm. It like you said, it seems a bit backwards. You're trying to reinstate a species that was previously there, and then as soon as the population is doing well, you're culling them again.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense. I think you've kind of got to pick one or the other. I don't, they knew what they were doing when they were trying to encourage them to breed more. So, yeah, and like you said, there are preventative measures for it. I'm not saying I'm a farmer in Sweden, so I don't know exactly what it's like, but to then downgrade a protective red list species seems a bit silly to me.
He's going to push this problem so many years down the road, and then what? He's going to keep on doing it.
Mm.
Well, you'll get to a point where every couple of years, let's say it's every 5 to 10 years, they're sending people out to hunt down wolves, but there'll be pressure on. It'll get more to a point where there'll be pressure on the government to allow hunting every year, and then people will say that 150 wolves is still too many.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You're like, it's just maddening. Tigers kill cattle. Nobody would allow to kill 10 tigers to maintain the population. No, Thistle, that's very true. But again, the farmers in India and the areas and the other countries surrounding that where the tigers are, I do believe I've got a really good what do you call it? They get paid money for each tiger for each piece of cattle that is killed by a tiger. I'm not sure what it's like in Europe. I know they do get money for confirmed livestock kills by wolves, but I'm not sure if it's anywhere near as much as they need, because what they would get for that lamb or whatever up in when they sell it. So
It's like I don't really understand how that works actually, because surely a lot of farmers could say that their sheep were killed by wolves. Like, is there going to be any kind of sort of proof or something? Do you know what I mean? Surely a farmer could be like, "Oh yeah, all my sheep were killed by wolves." Obviously, that the government are going to come check.
possibly you are very quiet at the moment, Kat. You might be a bit far away from your microphone.
I don't think I am.
There it is. There.
I can't
See?
get that close. You're up a bit closer now.
You're better now.
Went quiet for some reason.
Yeah, it's all right. We've got you back. I don't know, Kat. It's obviously we don't have all the information. We only can look at what's given to us through these articles and stuff. Like Pookie's made a very good point. Issue with dogs is that the sheep are in areas where people walk, bike, etc. Wolf guard dogs and strangers don't mix. It's completely true, Pookie. So obviously having your livestock protected by guard dogs isn't possible in certain areas where it's like in Wolves on Leeds, says Barnacle Bomb. Yes, let's do that. All dogs
Do we
on
have
lead.
signs? Do we have signs? This is a red area. All wolves go on leads.
I'll go on leads. But yeah, it's challenging, and obviously you've got people like us who don't want to see this happen. But then on the other end of the scale, you've got people who don't want wolves there at all.
Yeah, I understand. I do understand. It is tricky, and like I say, I will never know what the actual reality of that is
Yeah.
like. I'd love to, but I don't think that I would ever know the full picture of it. But it just, from obviously a conservation perspective, for a red list species to be culled is quite a thing.
Yeah, the other one at the moment is the lynx. I read an article the other day about the Iberian lynx being reintroduced, and at the moment there's a lot of pressure for culling to start happening with that because of livestock issues. And you're like, we live in a country where we would love to have lynx back. We'd love to have wolves back. Excuse me, from certain individuals like ourselves, but there's definitely people out there who don't want it.
Mm.
There's people out there who don't want badgers.
Yeah.
And badgers don't have any negative impact really on, or no proven negative impact on
No.
cattle of any form, livestock of any form. Like even bovine tuberculosis is proven not to have it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the science says that it has no impact.
Mm-hmm.
Wildlife nippies. Where will it stop as well? We got golden jackals in the Netherlands. You've got golden jackals in the Netherlands. Is that a native species, Pookie?
Wow.
That's cool.
But yeah,
That's
so
really cool.
yeah, so it's challenging. It's a good article though. It came over from Germany.
Ah.
Oh.
I suppose jackals don't see borders on maps, so
Haven't got a passport.
cool, awesome. Right, Nick, what's yours?
Yeah, I'll finish on not really like good or bad, just like an interesting one with some studies. But this was one from The Guardian, where social monogamy has been observed in less than 10% of mammal species, and birds have been shown to be less faithful than previously believed. So the 10% of mammal species figure comes down to the difference in parental investment between males and females. Parental care comes primarily from the female, who invests hugely in gestating and producing milk for her young, whereas the males don't really provide that much for the offspring, maybe some guarding or holding territory, but nothing really more than that. However, in birds, both parents are much more involved in raising the offspring. Before methods to establish paternity existed, evidence suggested that birds as a group were mostly sexually monogamous. But after genetic testing techniques have developed, scientists began to realize that birds were not as faithful as previously believed, that social and sexual monogamy don't necessarily go hand in hand. A study was carried out and found that in Australia, the superb fairy wren had 76% of its chicks born in nests that were fathered by other males, and the Australian magpie at a rate as high as 82%. So it's a bit like the dunnock we have here,
Yeah.
where like different fathers, different chicks, but around 80% is amazing. The wandering albatross usually mates for life and takes years to establish a bond to start breeding. For lots of longer living birds, such as these seabirds, it definitely takes both parents to raise the offspring successfully, whereas short lived species, in contrast, might be more ready to ditch their partner to maximize breeding opportunities. Other factors that might drive animals to divorce, what scientists call mate switching, includes a high mortality rate and a skewed sex ratio, both driving up competition for mates, creating the temptation for those of the minority sex to shack up with someone more appealing. There are also environmental factors affected by the climate crisis that can be another reason for divorces. For example,
Divorces.
breeding season. I love that term, like divorces and getting together and things, like very anthropomorphized version of it. But finding different partners. Other factors can be environmental. So breeding season can be shorter or weather being worse during breeding season, leading to failed nests, so they might seek new partners in that scenario, which is possibly an overlooked consequence of the climate crisis. But yeah, it was an interesting one from the Guardian with new studies show birds not very faithful to each other.
You can understand why, because they're trying to make sure that the gene pool is as strong as possible, aren't they? So
Yeah, and if for whatever reason it doesn't go well, then like, oh, I'm not sticking with you anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Divorced.
then you've also got like, so I've heard stories of blue tits where the male will set up a nest with a female, mate, the chicks hatch, and then the male disappears, and the male's discovered in another nest, helping another female out.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Rascal.
it's spreading itself throughout just to try and get its gene pool out there. Whereas you talked about the Dunnock, it's got multiple. The female can have multiple male partners, all in the same nest. The males don't know which chick is there, so we'll feed them all.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So the female's making sure that she's got the best chance for her chicks to survive.
Yeah.
It is a really interesting study. I think when I was on SCOMA, I learned with like the shorted owls they had there, and I think it's quite a few years ago they had like a ringed individual, and I think it was the male paired up with a female, and like there were eggs which were reared mainly by the female, and then I think it was the male, or maybe around one of the pair, and then about a month later, that same individual was found in France, partnering with another individual, like, and also raising young there as well, like within the same breeding season. So as
Whoa.
you're saying, just
Is he?
spreading the gene pool. Yeah, or scandalous, as Bark would say.
It's the definition of a bird fuckboy.
There we go. Cool. That's been a good evening.
Yeah, also
Yeah.
I
Your
had.
romance gone rogue.
I'll say I had something else I want to talk about as well, because
No, go
I
on then.
couldn't join you for your last stream of the year, like a month or so ago.
Oh yeah. Bucket list.
Because
Oh god,
I've come with a
I
bucket
forgot
list
this.
for this year.
Right, go for it.
So it's not like a just 5 points or something. It's like different categories as
Oh,
such.
I think we've lost the stream. Give it a second.
Oh no,
No, we're back. We're all right. We're okay.
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. We're fine.
But I had two plants that I wanted to see this year. One of them was the Snowdon lily, which you get up here in North Wales in the mountains, and I might have seen it, but it was like a slither of leaf. It wasn't very convincing, so I'd like to try and see it, a convincing version or convincing specimen. And then the other one was any mycoheterotrophic plant. So these are parasitic plants, but they parasitize fungi, which I've recently read Entangled Minds, I think it is, by Merlin Sheldrake, which is an amazing book about fungi and things like that. So I became very inspired to try and find these fungi parasitizing plants. The main one I want to find is Monotropa hyperpitus, or Dutchman's pipe, which you do get here in Anglesey. So we'll hopefully go looking for that in kind of late spring, early summer. Then the rest are birds. So the birds I just want to see. I had avocet, because I haven't seen an avocet, a firecrest, and an osprey. I haven't seen an osprey, which I'm quite surprised, and a corncrake. I'd like to see a corncrake.
Corncrake would be a cork or firecrest as well.
Because I was on Rathlin for 2 summers, and I was a bit late to hear them, but I didn't see them as well, which I'm very sad about. I'd love to hear or see a corncrake. And then there's 2 I want to see, because I've heard them, but I've actually seen them, which is a bittern and a water rail.
Nice.
See, I've never even heard a water rail. Goldcrest and Firecrest confused me a bit. I saw Goldcrest, I think. So Thistle, that
Cool.
Pookie's taught me something here on Firecrest, because I've never seen a Firecrest, and I always thought I would struggle to identify the difference. And Pookie's put some great images up of Firecrest on Discord channel. And I said, "Oh, it's a Goldcrest." And he goes, "No, remember the white stripe." So the Firecrests are angry Goldcrests. It's Murdercrest. So it's got a white stripe across the top of its eye, which the Goldcrest doesn't really have. It's really significant. Like, you can really see the difference. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I'll be looking for when I see the UK's smallest birds, because the Firecrest and the Goldcrest are both the joint smallest birds in the UK. So that's what I'll be looking for, is that white stripe. And if I don't see the white stripe, then I still get to see a lovely Goldcrest. Goldcrests look surprised, Firecrests look pissed off. That's a nice way of putting it, Birdercrest. Nice way of putting it.
One thing that just sticks in your mind.
Yeah.
Ospreys are amazing. I'll be going to see Ospreys again this year. I go to see them every year.
I should be able to see one quite easily, but I just realized, like, oh my gosh, I haven't actually seen an osprey yet.
You need to go see Ospreys. They're
I'd love
phenomenal
to.
birds. Absolutely phenomenal birds. And
And
if you can observe a nest as well, like if you you find the nest and you're observing the nest, hang around if you know that nest is has got a sitting female on it, because the male will bring fish in.
Yeah,
So
there's a Lake Llanbrennig, which is about an hour or so drive from here, which does have regular pair breeding there. So hopefully get myself across to that. That'd be really exciting.
That'd be brilliant.
Talents with wings. And then I did have 3, which I'm not expecting to go out of my way to see, but I would like to see, which is any kind of shrike, because I still haven't seen any shrikes, a hoopoe, and a little orc. So those are my theories. Like, they're not likely, but it would be really cool if I did see one of them.
There's lots of images of little orc at the moment, actually, coming up on social media.
Yeah, with the storms. Was it mainly the East Coast?
Quite a lot on the East Coast. I've seen images of peregrine chasing them. So.
Oh yes, I think I saw that as well. Peregrine.
Yeah, which was very cool. There was a hoopoe in Swansea in October. No, it wasn't October. It was no, it was October. Yeah, it was a hoopoe
just after I left Skoma
in Swansea. And I drove past Swansea twice, once on the way to St David's and once on the way back. And I was like, I'm not going to stop off on the way there because it was quite late in the day. And on the way back, I hadn't seen anything on socials about it still being around. And then when I got home that night, there was loads of stuff on socials about it being there. So I was like, oh, damn it. So I could have popped in to see a hoopoe, because I've never seen one. That'd be a great sight.
Yeah, my friend on Skoma saw that hoopoe as well.
Oh, cool.
I'd love to see one.
Yes, it's lovely birds. Yeah, that's a great list.
Yes, that's my bucket list, which I'll put on the Discord channel after the stream. Yeah, fingers crossed. Good year, so.
We're early in the year, so we've got a whole year.
Exactly.
So Kat, we're still waiting on yours.
Mine will be the next stream. We're spacing them out.
Okay.
Don't too many buckets in one stream.
Yeah, exactly. One bucket list per stream. It's not because I forgot to do it. It's just because, strategically.
Brilliant.
Oh, this says one hoopoe was stranded on the Isle of May due to a storm when we were staying there. Oh no. I love hoopoes.
Right. It's a Bird of Crispus. Right.
Right.
I think you convinced him.
Awesome. So, another great stream. Really enjoyed that. First of the year for Nature Chat 1 anyway. Many more to come. Has anybody got any plans over the next week or so to get out in the wildlife?
Hopefully. There's lots of snow in the mountains, which I can tantalizingly see from my window. So I have to get up there before I go.
Yeah.
I'll bring some back.
Bring some snow back with you.
Post some back. Put it in the freezer.
Yeah. Oh, and surely the main thing on Nick and Cat's bucket list should be a visit to a yes. I
Love.
yeah, I just missed off my last category, which is nature reserves I want to visit. And there's just one on there.
What I will say is, if you go to said reserve, you've got a very good chance of seeing avocets, which is on your
Yeah.
list.
I remember you saw them. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I got
So
some great
what
views of avocets there.
best time to go to
What
that reserve?
to Frampton?
Frampton.
All time,
Yeah.
all year. I haven't been
Okay,
disappointed.
fine.
Honestly, haven't been disappointed anytime I've been.
mm,
At the moment, so following the socials and stuff, they put up what's been spotted each day. And there's merlins, there's a ring-tailed hen harrier, there's a hen harrier. Currently 6 looking chilly in the spring, 175 pairs, and that'll be the
wow.
avocets. Yeah, so like for me, if I was to go there, I'd be going looking for the hen harriers and the merlin again. But there's just so much stuff like Red Wings Field Fair. You've got to get bitterns there, Chris. Surely you've had bitterns sighted at in the reed marshes and the reed beds.
I'd be surprised if not.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that one as well. Group trip to Frampton, definitely
Yeah.
Thistle. We should do it. The
Yeah.
four
We
of us
should.
should definitely go together.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I'd love that.
That would be cool.
They drop in.
Then
The
you
reed
can
birds
check
are not
off.
huge though. Oh, that's true. That's true, Birder.
Mm.
Bitterns are probably having coffee and cake. Yes, very good coffee and cake. Cool. So we're back on Friday. Are you free Friday, Nick?
Yeah. Back to
Oh,
our crafting
More,
planets.
more crafting planets. We are discovering many cool things. Getting very excited.
Yeah, we're getting a bit not out of hand, but like we're flying rockets off. We got a little buggy we're driving around.
Yeah,
Got a lake which came very close to the edge of our house, but it's
it
fine
did.
now.
we built the house in the right place.
Yes.
although I think on Friday I'm going to re-lay out the house a bit. I might move some stuff around and try and build it in a specific way so it actually looks like a really nice layout and stuff. So because at the moment it's kind of higgledy piggledy where things are and whatnot. So
yeah.
so I might have a heat house and all that kind of stuff, which would be quite funky. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then next Wednesday we'll be back for our next nature chat. Are you joining us, Kat, or are you away next Wednesday? So Wednesday after, cool. I didn't hear her, but I read her lips. So.
You not hear me?
I did that time. See?
Oh, this
Try
is
the
the
cheese
first time I use my
scones.
lovely new laptop and it's done me dirty already. Come on.
It's working again now. Cool. So yes, so that's the next 2 streams. I'm hoping to get out to Sherwood and Bud Bay over the next couple of days. Sherwood would be the first time I've been there since I left RSPB, but that'll be good to see everybody and hopefully get some cool stuff. There's been some bullfinches spotted there recently as well, which is very cool. But it's getting to the right time of year now for me to start looking for my little lesser spotted woodpecker friends. And hopefully this year I'll get to see them again, and I've got a camera that might be able to zoom in enough to actually get a decent shot. So
that'd be cool.
That'll be the thing. I think one of my challenges this year will be to get in a picture of a lesser spotted woodpecker, because that's the only one I haven't gotten a picture of yet out of the 3 woodpeckers in the UK. So.
Oh, because saw one today.
Oh.
Just rub it in.
Rub it in. Not even an Andy pick. I know if that's all. I've never even had an Andy pick of a lesser spot. I've got a video of one, but it's like you can hardly see it in the video because it was only on my phone. So, but yeah, there we go. That'd be cool.
Very cool.
So we're back on Friday for more Planet Crafter. And then next Wednesday will be myself and Nick for more nature chat. And hopefully lesser spotted woodpeckers. But I can't promise anything.
You promise it now.
And I'll do more I'll do more gardening as well. So, although I filled both my gardening bins today.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You what?
So I've got 2 bins for the garden waste, and I filled
Oh, you
both.
filled
And I
them.
filled both of
Oh,
them in one day, and I've still
oh.
got so much to take out. I've got an invasive bulb in my front garden, and I reckon I will probably need about a quarter of a bin.
Use your neighbour's bin. I'm sure they won't mind.
I might knock on my neighbour, Rick and
Give
Lucy.
them a cup of
ask
tea.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, biscuits. A couple of biscuits.
Black
Not say no.
gold in about a year's time. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And we will see you Friday for our gaming stream and next Wednesday for more nature chat.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks for
everyone. Have a
tuning
wonderful
in,
week.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.